wrapped in a mystery, inside an enigma.
Welcome to the Magician's Advice, honest advice from working magicians, with your hosts Phil Taylor and Ian Brennan.
Hello, welcome to the Magician's Advice podcast live on a Friday, something like that. I don't know what we're calling this.
Live stream. Live stream.
Live stream on a Friday. So we joined today by Ian and Rob, and we've got Tony working away in the background, make sure it's sorted and sound for us. Ian's gonna do us a. I don't know. It seems weird. Like what? Ian's
Rob, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Thanks.
Tony,
are you there?
How's things?
Excellent. For the people watching at the moment, we've got it's slightly hard to us because Phil, Rob, myself, and all see each other. We can't see Tony. But for all of you watching out there, you can see Tony on the screen. So he could be doing anything he likes at the moment. We wouldn't be able to spot what he's doing. You could all see. So the run of this show tonight is we're going to do questions that we've had from our Patreon. We're going to answer those first. Four diamonds. We're going to go into that. We're going to go into that in a bit of detail. And then we might talk a little bit about dealers, depending on how the time goes. And then after that, we've got a talking point video we want to share with you an in-depth chat about. And then we've got some videos from all of you that you sent packet tricks we want to show and just share those. That's the running order. So should we start off with one of the questions we had sent in?
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. The first question was from Mark. And it said, how do you structure specifically? How do you link routines together, ending the whole show together? How do you hone in on one particular routine? So bring multiple effects together to make a routine. Basically, you've got your different effects. How do you blend them together to make one larger routine than just individual effects? Phil, can you start us off?
Yeah. So on this one, when I was thinking about it, what have I already done? What's sort of natural in the way that I do it? And it always it would lend itself to a deck of cards, this would. So for me, it would be about producing, or it would have an overarching feel, and the arcing feel for me would be gambling, just say it's a feel. And then from there, I would pick the effects. So just for an example, when I sit down with on a table with some people and have time to do that, pre-COVID, I'd start off with an ace production of some kind, and then I'd go into Bill Malone's Cheating at Vegas, and then I'd go into stand-up Mont, and that sort of gives it a whole feel for it's a gambling demonstration. This is how you cut the cards, aces pop out, then you do you lose the aces back in, and then you find them again in an impossible way, and then up on stand-up Mont, and it's sort of it lends. What you'll find is different tricks will have the same sort of feel, so you could put them in a category. Does that make sense? So yeah. So for example, a spend pad could go together with a mark deck, because they're both sort of mentalism and sort of the way they are. By the way, these are Steve Zeller's decks. Very nice. Night Flight.
Yeah. Good deck.
You got a deck?
I'm going to practice deck as someone else at the moment. Anyway, interesting side note there. We've recorded an episode with Steve Della. It's coming out tomorrow morning, so check that out on the podcast feed in all the usual places. So Phil, you've said kind of find a theme between the effects and link them together that way. How about you, Rob? How do you put together your set, like when you're working at Houdini's or when you're doing gigs?
Yeah, pretty much. I find some effects that seem to work together first and foremost. So for me, I link the Turner watch along with a sort of a little packet trick that I know which is a number reveal. So it links in with a toxic force as well, and digital force bag. So I link them together like that. So we're going on a journey with somebody famous. We're going to play a game of cards, and what time we're going to go. So it's sort of like just linked them together like that, basically. And that's how I link my sets together. Is I find what works with each other, if there's a common theme with them, and then just build it there. And I think as well that one of the best things you can do is work them. Get out there and work them. If they don't work together, you'll find out. But then when they do, stay with it. You learn it that way.
Wicked. Tony, how about you? It's okay. It's okay. I think you're up. You're up over there, am I? I'll give you a poke. Wicked. Pretty much the same for me. I think the thing I'd mention as well is I try and use the same prop as much as I can. So if I'm doing a 5 or 10 minute set, if I can do that with one signed card and make a bigger moment out of that, then I prefer to do that rather than having lots and lots of little bits going on. So an example for me would be I do a anniversary card routine, anniversary waltz by Garrett Thomas. And I'll do that with a couple, bring the couple up to the table, do that, blah, blah, blah. Produce this impossible object of a doubly signed card at the end. And then I'll go into Lysander's floating glass, which is called Exquisite, where the wine glass floats up on the table. But to make that look even better and also to hide a bit of the dodginess on it, the signed card goes in. We bring the couple in emotionally, so the emotion of the card is still in there. And that feeling is what causes the wine glass to float. It floats up, it lands on their hand, we take the cloth off, we give them the card. So it's linking the props and linking the emotions as well. And that way the audience don't think you've done lots of little bits. They see it all as one long routine together.
It's about having a narrative, isn't it? And knowing your scripts and knowing what you're going to say. The way that I've done it in the past, I know you want to move on. The way that I've done it in the past is I've had one piece, I've learned it, scripted it, and then I've added into another piece. So basically I've had one piece here and one piece in the middle, one piece there, and I've learnt them all separately and then put them all together as sort of one. But that's just one way of doing it. Like you said, you can do the other one where you can plot it out, think it all, and have an overarching feel, get the emotions in. That's a Darwin thing there. Ian's been reading Strong Magic. That is definitely a Darwin saying. He's picked up there, man. Like, I remember reading that bit thinking, oh, yeah. You quoted
it must be the first half of the book then, if you remember reading it.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
Right, here we go. We got our second question in. Oh, by the way, we're doing a book club on the Patrons page, which will be the first episode of that's coming out soon, where we go through Strong Magic and we apply it and we look at that. Anyway, the second question came from Craig Walker. Craig was mentioning about, because of COVID-19, a lot of people are going to be changing their routines and changing their sets going forward. He hasn't asked what are people going to do, but he's asked, when you change your set, how do you work in something new? So not necessarily what would work and what wouldn't work for a socially distanced environment, because we don't know what that's going to be. But when you work in a new effect, how do you work in a new effect to your routines? Rob, will you start us off on that one?
Hold on a second.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Tone, is your mic working? Because Ian McGarver's just said, is your mic working, Tone?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we can hear him, so yeah. Okay. So basically, if I'm thinking about working something in, the best way for me is, because I've got a residency at Houdini's Magic Bar. That's a perfect opportunity to work it in. You can get out, you can try stuff out, and see if it works. You soon find out in a residency. You soon find out whether it's going to work for you or not. Literally within the space of an evening. If it doesn't work, then bin it, get rid of it. If it does, you soon know, and you just keep it in, and that's how pretty much I do it. I don't think I have a planned formula. What I do is I have a look at it again, as I said about structuring routines. I have a look and I go, right, will this work with A and B? If it works with A and B, then I'll put in with that set and see how it goes, and do it from there. So yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, wicked. Phil, anything to add on that one?
Yeah, so for me, if I like it, then I'm going to perform it well. I'm going to try and perform it well, because I want to. If it's fooled me and I've enjoyed it, then I want to give that to somebody else, so I'll buy it and structure it. So what I'll do is, very simply, I haven't got a residency. I'll just carry it around with me where I am. It might be, like, for example, the Night Flight decks. I've just been carrying around because I wanted to see how they would work in an environment. And we're obviously not now, because we're not seeing people. But they'll just carry them around with me and use that prop as and when and where I can, because people know, if you're a magician, people know that you're more than likely going to be performing, or at some point you'll be asked to do a trick. So that's a good way of doing it as well. You're not going to get the airtime like Rob's saying but you definitely you can still use it. I still think if you're going to work things, you need a residency, or at the very least a wedding fair. But even a wedding fair, you don't want to be working in new material. You want to be doing your strong material. But there's another place you could use it, which is there as well. Or just get a restaurant. Just say to a restaurant, phone them up, and say, I'm coming in. Is there any? Would you like to see a magician? Blah 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 blah. And, sell it that way and do a free trial. Go down there and you can work that one routine. If you're so inclined to do it, it's just a way of doing it. Just thinking off the top of my head.
Yeah, and now's a good time if you're looking at going into restaurant magic. Not a good time because there might be more opportunities, but a lot of restaurants are going to be reevaluating how they work, and there might be an opportunity there for magicians. It might be that all of those opportunities have disappeared and that you can't do them anymore, but it might be restaurants are in need of a little bit of entertainment to keep the queues happy. To bring an umbrella with you. I don't know. Tony, have you got anything else to add about working in a thing? Oh, okay. So Tony's mic's not working. No worries.
Yeah, what you were saying about the restaurants as well, though, Ian, I think they're going to need re-educating as well on how things are going to work. So therefore, that's our job to do that as well. You tell them how it's going to work. Don't wait for them to tell you. So
yeah. Well, I had a client phone me up yesterday. On the back of that podcast we did with your mate over in Spain. What was it? And because of that conversation where we were sitting down, where the guest was sitting down, I was able to advise him and say, look, potentially this is going to end pretty fast now. We're almost at the tail end of what coming out of these restrictions. So potentially what will happen is you could actually get to sit at a table and the waiters will be serving them drinks, and then you can come and stand by them. You're still practicing that 1 meter rule, but it was like, oh, that's a great idea, and I sold it in that way. That was kind of the way that I sold the whole thing about keeping me booked in. And he went, yeah, that's a great idea, we can still do that. Guests can sit at tables and you can just go up to the tables, and we'd advise everyone. And I said to him, like, make sure if that happens, advise everybody there's going to be a magician coming up to you, speaking to you. He will have a mask on, he will be doing magic tricks for you at your table, and he won't be getting too close, but that's up to you guys. And I'll ask some questions. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea. And I was like, yeah, sound easy. And that was because it's because we had
that was Graham McKell.
Yeah, Graham. Yeah,
Graham McKell.
Yeah, if you haven't checked that one out yet, I think that came out yesterday or the day before. And I think the title of the podcast is something along the lines of the first gig after lockdown, because he's the first person we've managed to track down with an old school style close-up gig. And he did it a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago. And it's kind of his thoughts on the new situation there. Yeah, great stuff. Great. I think the only thing I would add to the conversation about working in a new trick is always stick it in the middle. Don't open with it. Don't try and close with it because it could flop. Yeah. Stick it in the middle and just be prepared for it to fail. Tell
I
people.
Always want a backup as well. I always want a backup out. Like I always want something out to get out of it. I always felt that was important as well when I was doing things and tricks. But remember when you was learning stand-up Monty? I don't know about you, but how many times did it go wrong?
At the start, a lot. Not at all now, but at the start, quite a bit.
Well, even for me now, Ian, I might get it wrong. Every 10th gig, I might get it wrong, but that's my sort of orientation of the card. But it does go, because that's a technical routine to do live and think about and move around. But I'm just saying that if you could have a good out, like with stand up Monty, if I ever went wrong, I'd be like, shit, I don't know where I am. I'd turn some of the cards over and go, yeah, I was just cheating and all these queens were meant to be here, or whatever it is that I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? But it's not the way that you want to go, like, but they saw something and like, oh, it's great, but I don't really know what happened. I'm a bit confused, but
that's it. So you be prepared. Stuff's going to go wrong. You just accept the first time you do something, it's going to go wrong, and be prepared. They're going to call, like if it's stand up Monty, they're going to call you out having the dodgy cards. Just be prepared to roll with it. Don't get argumentative with them. Don't start squaring off against them. Just go, oh yeah, sorry, yeah, look at this, all these dodgy cards. Ha ha ha. Be a nicer guy and go to your next better bit.
Do you remember when you had that fight with that guy because he caught you doing a double lift?
What was that, Phil?
Do you remember when you had a fight with that guy because he caught you doing a double lift? No.
Sounds like something you do, that though.
Oh, I'd never do anything like that.
Oh, I love it. Right, we got one more question. I didn't get the person's name that put this down because it came in just before the recording started. And it was, this is something I think we touched on in the Steve Della episode, which is coming out tomorrow. Check that out on all the podcast places. It's what's your everyday carry. If someone walks up to you, they know you're a magician, and they say, do a magic trick, what have you normally got on you? And the reason this came up in the Steve Della episode was we talked a bit about propolis mentalism, and is there ever a time when you are naked and you don't have anything on you? Or what do you have on you? What's your go-to thing? So, gentlemen, who wants to go in first?
Well, I'll show you, right? As of pre-lockdown, I have a deck of cards pretty much everywhere and a big list on my phone now of every effect that I know and perform off by heart. So I've got, at the moment, I've got 38 effects that I know that I can work and straight away from a deck of cards. It's a standard deck. And you know what? I've probably got more as well. It's weird though, when you start counting all the tricks you can do with a deck of cards, you're like, like, have you done it yet? Have you worked out exactly how many card tricks you know? Like,
yeah.
Have you done it? I didn't know. It was Rob Froh.
Oh yeah, mine was about 78 when I did my list of tricks. Not all card tricks though, like just general tricks.
Oh, I haven't done all the general. I've just done the cards.
Yeah, I took my notebook and I just did a whole page. I just wrote down everything I can do because I keep forgetting what I do. So I've got a list there, and then if I ever need to go and make it a set again, I'm like, okay, here's all my stuff. What am I going to pick out? Yeah. How about you, Rob? What's your everyday carry?
Well, I always carry my on my phone. I've obviously got digital force bag. My everyday carry wallet is a Stealth Assassin anyway. So in there, I've got business cards. I've got Will to Read by Steve Della. I've also got Powerball 60 in there. So with my wallet, a deck of cards, and a pen in my pocket, I'm golden for over half hour. So yeah, that's my go-to things really.
Oh, very good. For me, I think if I'm in magic mode, then I'll have like a deck of cards with me. I'll have some of the magic props as well, and I'll just go into stand-up Monty, or I'll go into a card trick. Card trick wise, probably Out of This World if I'm sat there and I've got time to spare. If I haven't got a deck of cards, then I'm not in magic mode, so I won't have any props as such with me. But normally I'll be sat down somewhere, because I'm not the sort of person that stands up at bars very often, and I'll take whatever we've got and just start lapping stuff and vanishing things and then reappearing it in other places. That's what I tend to do. And it catches people off guard because they're expecting you to do, like, take your thumb off or something really naff. But then you take a bottle of wine and you put it under a napkin, you lap it, and then you reappear it. That blows them away. So mine's more, I use what's around me if I don't have anything on me. Cool. Yeah. Anything else to say on those, gentlemen? Or should we move on to our next topic?
That sounds like out of the Darwin book, that does, Ian. It's a good answer, mate.
I think it's a good idea to make a list of what you know, though, definitely. And a bit of advice that I've actually been speaking to a few different people on recently is make yourself a YouTube channel and record what you know and make the videos private. So record what you know, record a performance for yourself, and record a tutorial for yourself. Make it a private video so no one can see it. That way you've always got a backup. So if you do forget it, you've always got a reference. You've always got a library of your stuff.
Hey Rob, I'm reading this great book called, I've read it actually, Limitless by Jim Quick. And in there he says, as soon as you've learned something, teach it, because you're relearning it twice then. And he's right. You know, he's absolutely bang on. A lot of people said to me, Phil, you can't teach stuff. You know, so I put together a course, and me and Ian did some stuff about wedding fairs that we're going to be shooting about on the website. Not really plugging it, but it was about teaching. And somebody said, "Oh, you haven't got enough experience," and yet I've been doing it. I don't know, 5 years at least. And to share that knowledge is for people to learn. And it wasn't until I was explaining it, thinking, actually, I do know a lot. Like, I do know quite a bit. You know,
but it's called learning by rote, isn't it? You do it over and over and over again, and then you don't forget it. So just by you teaching it again is you're reteaching yourself it. So yeah, you're learning it by rote.
It's a great way of doing things. And anybody who wants to learn stuff and literally expand their mind, Jim Quick, I can't literally look at this. These are my notes on the book. Literally, I never write that many notes in a book anymore. But this one was just mad.
That's good. That's good.
So, guys, we've got just quickly. We've got a comment coming on Facebook from Ronald Davies. He says, "Come on, you lot, some coin magic."
Hey,
so
right.
maybe that's something we should do on the next one, because I think it's for us to do that. Has he? Oh, right.
Ron,
Can
I'm glad you're still here, mate. Ron, I'm glad you're still here. You survived Corona. I'll give you a shout later on in the day or tomorrow.
Can we say who Ron is? He's a bit of an underground character, isn't he?
Ron's a legend, mate. If you ever want
he's amazing, but are we allowed to say who he is?
Yeah, sure, man. Ron's a living legend.
I met Ron in Blackpool for the first time. I was absolutely impressed. The sort of secrets that guy has in the magic world, not like dark secrets.
He's a dark character, he is.
Ron, you're a legend. Yeah, let's have next week's thing for the videos, coin magic.
Next week or next month?
Sorry, next one. It won't be next week, will it? Yeah, next month. Whew.
Yeah. So it's Tony just fell off his chair.
Yeah, next month, 17th of July, Tony says. You might not be able to hear him there. 17th of July, we'll have coin magic as the senders in your videos. I think that's a good time to progress on to the next little bit. Oh, go on, Phil.
You know what? I haven't done any coin magic since I've been out of lockdown, man. I need to get back on it.
Yeah, we can always.
Tony's just said if he can, put my teeth back in. If you're watching and you can hear him on his mic, put a comment in that you can hear his mic. If you're watching and you can't hear him, put a comment that you can't hear him, so we know if anyone's watching or not.
They couldn't hear him if they was watching. They couldn't hear him, would they?
Yeah, exactly. But I thought rather than just have the moment of everyone sitting here contemplating, and then we carry on explain what's been said back there. Before we go on to the videos that we've got today, the talking point and then the other ones, we said we were going to mention a little bit about dealers. And I don't think we're going to have time to really go into much details on that. But something I do want to mention is if you're in the Midlands or in the West Midlands, there's a new old magic shop starting up that I think we need to give a shout out to. Phil, have you heard the news?
No.
Do you know the House of? Do you know the House of Magic, Phil?
The one in Stourbridge.
That's the one. It's opening up again. It's coming back to life. This time it's going to be run by Dave Pitt.
Oh, Dave's doing it.
Yeah, baby Dave Pitt is going to be running it, and it's coming back to life very soon. There's been a few announcements on their Facebook page. So if anyone out there is looking for a new magic shop or wants to check out, they'll be worth a look. They've got a bricks and mortar building in Stourbridge, which is quite a nice building. So you head on there if you can, or pop on their website, give them a bit of support, give them a bit of love.
Okay, so people here, Tony. Yeah.
What was that, Tony? How can you guys say, Tony?
No, apparently people can't hear him. They're putting it on the group chat saying they can't hear him. Steve Ranger's put, "Hi guys, any tips for creating set and practice? I suck at scripting and like only to have a rough idea what I'm going to say. Is this the correct way?"
No.
I personally, I would say when I go into it, I learn as I go. I go in with a script in my head of how I'm going to do it, but literally it will change after the very first time I do my performance on it. I learn on the fly. So, but that's just a personal opinion.
Yeah, there's some great advice in this book.
Is that a colouring book, Phil? We haven't.
Well, actually, it's in Devon Brown's book, one of his first ones, which is about a memory palace and learning lists. So once you've got your scripts down, you can use like a list as a memory prompt to I don't know, and use it that way around, so you'll never forget the script. Because when you're a magician, when you think about it, right now, if you're performing and learning a new trick, you have to technically know what you're doing. You have to manage the audience around you and what's behind you and what's coming up. Give it a script and stop anybody else sort of talking over you or anything like that. You're doing like 5 or 6 things all at once. So don't beat yourself up if you can't get there. For me personally, you get down first of all the magic trick, technically, you know what you need to be doing, like riding a bike or driving a car. You need to know that inside out, back to front. Then work on your script, and then not memorize, but kind of know how you're going to start it, and know how you're going to end it, and know sort of roughly in the middle, scripting wise. And then also you need to think about pocket management as well if you're doing a pocket trick or stage management. I mean, when we had what's his name, John Archer on, how brilliant was that podcast, right? And when he was talking about this, like putting your props in a circle, knowing which way you're going to go, and talking about the triangle. And I'm like, well, that can apply to anything in life. Like, know your triangle, know which way you're going to be looking at things and talking about things. And
that's not going to be out for another few weeks yet. So they've not heard that yet, have they?
No, yeah, that's one's coming out soon. But what great advice. But yeah, it's not easy, Steve, man. When you start out, it's not easy. Not easy.
No.
I found.
What you do need to remember, though, is even when you're starting out, you say it's not easy. What you do need to remember is that they don't know what's coming. The audience don't know what's coming. So just as long as you can bluff your way through it and make it like you know what you're doing, that's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly that.
Exactly. And then make sure you're entertaining. And if you have to bluff your way through the rest of it, bullshit raffles brains, as they say.
Yeah, exactly that. I find it's helpful to know why you're doing something. So if you're doing a fork bend, let's say, that just came into my mind somehow. If you're doing a fork bend, why are you doing a fork bend? What's the purpose behind it? As in, why is the fork bending? Is it your power? Is it their emotion that's going to bend it? Is it just as they wiggle their fingers? Have in your head what's going to be the cause and be the effect, so that as you go through, you've got that bit straight in your head. As for the words you say, they can be really fluid for the first 2 or 3 times you do it. Just mumble your way through. Do it on your friends at home. Do it on your family. Try it a few times, and you'll find that you fall into a bit of a pattern and a bit of a structure with what you say. And then over time, it'll develop and it'll become better. Most of my routines, I enjoy them so much because they don't stick to the original scripts. They're based on scripts that my audiences have supplied me with over the years. Absolutely. So there's a few things, there's a few things in my fork bend routine that I know other magicians won't say, because it's stuff that I picked up off my spectators, which then have become my script the next time.
I think it's
just flow with it.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with taking a script from the effect or the book that you've learned it from, because it's natural, like you've just said. Over time, you will add your own stuff and you'll take things from the audience that in however long you perform it, it won't look the same from one point from when you started doing it, because it just evolves, just like the trick will evolve. You'll add things, you'll take things away. But yeah, that's how my scripts evolved. It just, they just happen.
Yeah, definitely.
There you go.
Yeah, Steve's also put as well that the nerves get the better of him as well. He said he thanks us. He said that nerves get the better. You know what? I think nerves get the better of everybody. Everybody gets nervous. My attitude with nerves is the day that I don't get nervous going to work is the day I give it up. Nerves keeps you healthy and it keeps you safe.
Yeah. Then, Rob.
And it's all about learning your own workarounds with it. So what do you do to calm your nerves? For me, I don't eat a big meal before I perform. I might eat something small, but I never eat a big meal, because a load of food weighing down on my stomach wouldn't help with my nerves. And it's just different things for different people.
Your body's then having to use energy to break down the carbs within your belly, and then taking away from your blood oxygen in your brain. And I learned that in this book.
Did you really?
No, really.
Like this book.
Are we just starting quoting books? Is that all we're doing?
This is if you want a copy of that book, it's written by Phil Taylor and it's available on philtaylormagic.com.
Yeah. I think when you stay away from the belly full of food as well, definitely stay away from alcohol. Alcohol won't help you whatsoever, and I stay away from caffeine as well, because you don't want the caffeine to hype you up when you've already got the adrenaline, the nerves running through you as well. So so that's
That's it. Know yourself, know your own body. For me, I feel I perform better if I've had a small drink, because the alcohol helps. But as soon as I've had anything to drink, my face goes bright red. So if I have just a small whiskey or something and then try and perform, people would see that my cheeks have gone red. Why has he gone red? It's something daft like that. Anyway, let's move on to the next little bit. We have got a. Oh, sorry. Phil's going to quote something. What have you got there, Phil?
I know we're going to move on, but
is it from
I'm
a
just going
book?
to give you some advice out of this book. Your brain foods: avocado, blueberries, broccoli, dark chocolate, eggs, green leafy vegetables, salmon, turmeric, walnuts, and you have to stay hydrated. And
So next month, guys, we'll be reviewing Jamie Oliver's latest creation.
That's some good advice there. Good advice.
If you want to be a better performer, you need to take everything into account.
Yeah. You're exactly right, and it's one of those bits where we've got to take it all into account. Everyone seems to have frozen on my screen a little bit.
Yeah,
we all okay
I lost Phil, but everybody else is fine.
Okay.
I've lost you.
I think that's a
Rob.
good.
Just keep going. Okay. Everyone can hear us.
I think that's a good segue there.
That's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we're going to cut into our video, our talking point for this week. So, Tony, could you roll the video
feed?
Now. We're going to have a little chat about
that. I'm going to try and connect to a dead relative over the phone. I think someone's passed away within the last 10 years. I'd be correct with that. Wouldn't I to begin with? No. No? So not a friend or a relative or someone that you know that is close to you has passed away within the last 10 years? Yeah. Right, I think there's both. I think there's a boy and a female that may have passed away within the last 10 years, whether that is a friend, relative or close to you, am I right? Male, yeah. Right, so the male that I'm getting, I think quite old, but not really old. I'm thinking, I am right with the old, aren't I? Yeah. So I'm getting sort of 70s, but it may be slightly younger or slightly older, but I'm getting around 70. Am I right with that?
I think so.
And I think when he was younger, I think he quite liked sport, but when he got older, of course, he might have just watched it on TV. He weren't that athletic.
Yeah.
I'm right with that. Perfect. Did this person, because I'm getting this in my head right now, did this person at any point through his life have some sort of pain?
I'm not too sure.
Like maybe he had a back pain or something, I'm not sure, I'm getting some sort of pain. And also, I think he put on an exterior where he was quite confident and he like put on this confident exterior, but inside he might have been quite anxious or had mental health issues or something like that, but he put on an exterior that he was fine all the time. Am I right with that? Likely, alright. Did he ever cough at any point in his life? Like a bad cough?
Not too sure, I never really knew him that much.
You never really knew him that much. Alright, also, this bit may be quite wrong, I'm not sure about this, but I was getting a female passing away, whether that is a friend of yours or whether that is a relative, but she was much younger. The male was older, he was around the age of 70, the younger one, she was like probably teenager years.
I had a friend pass away.
And was she in her teenage years?
Yeah.
Well, the reason I got this picking up was I think the man who put on this exterior, he was alright but had bad mental health issues. I think it's similar with the girl. I think she put on an exterior that she was fine and calm. Inside she was very bad mental health, bad depression or something along those sort of lines of not quite alright inside. Am I correct with that? Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
That is correct. I think the man when he was younger for some reason, when he was in school, I think he was maybe a bit of a troublemaker. Back in his school years. I don't know why I'm picking up on that, but he died around his 70s. He liked sport when he was younger. When he was older, he watched it on TV, but weren't as much athletic. And the female, she died, I think, she may have, this may be completely wrong, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong with this, I think she either overdosed or tried to kill herself another way due to her due to her mental health issues, and she was putting out an hysteria that she was fine when she actually wasn't. Am I correct with that?
She did kill herself, yeah.
So I'm bang on with that then. And for the man, I think he passed away of pretty much just old age. Am I correct with that?
I think so.
Yeah. Even though, I don't know if this is bang on, but I was getting like tobacco or cigarettes, like the man may have potentially smoked at some point through his life. He was a smoker. And can you just give me the first letter of that man's name, if you know it?
I'm not going to clue.
Well, give me the first letter of that female's name then.
What was her name? I think it's Dan with an L.
With an L? An
Yeah.
L. And if this is a short name, that would mean it's below sort of 5-6 letters. If it was a long name, it's above 6 letters. I'm pretty sure this is a shorter name, so 6 or below letters. Am I right?
No.
No. So it's a longer name?
Yeah.
Right. For the first time, yeah? First time ever, what was her name, please? What was the name of the girl that sadly passed away? Elizabeth, yeah? But I've just recorded this because I record every one of my psychic things that I do. And I'll send it to you when you've dated, because I wrote down Liz on the back of my business card. That is short for Elizabeth. Bang on.
There we go. So comment down below, what do you think about that performance? And I'm going to call it a performance. He'd probably call it a psychic reading from the way he's presented himself on social media. But what do you make of that performance? Phil, what do you think?
It's a real difficult one, because I know we had the conversation about we didn't want to sort of rib people because they're out there doing it, they're putting their stuff out there, which is kind of hard to do anyway. Ethically, I don't think it's the greatest way to perform. And he says he's not a magic, and he's doing an ID at the very end of the routine. It's not the greatest by a long shot. I'm trying to be diplomatic and help. I think he needs some help, if I'm honest with you, to structure it. He's got an idea of what he wants to be, but unless he's doing it for a joke, I don't know. But it's one of the. Does he need a mentor? Does he need someone to help him out? I mean, personally, I wouldn't do that routine ever. But that's. Actually, what do you think here?
I think there's the two sides there, isn't it? There's why is he doing it, which you were suggesting. Is he doing it because he's trying to be a magician? Is he entertaining? Is he performing? Or is he trying to do it as a psychic? And is he trying to prove that he's contacting the dead? So there's the why, and then there's the how, because it's not a very good performance. But a lot of the things in there that it's doing could be easily improved. So the fishing, he needs to work on that quite a bit, because there's a lot of questions that were off the mark. The prediction that he wrote is out of sight until the very end. And after she says Elizabeth, he puts his hands down, fiddles around, and then brings up Liz. If you've written that down beforehand, you have it there beforehand, and you have it in sight or upside down. You don't put your hands out of the way. I'm pretty sure he wrote it down beforehand, because at the end he starts fishing for a short name. She's got a short name. And then the person says, no, it's a long name. It's Elizabeth. Oh, I've got Liz. So I'm pretty sure he got that information before. But he just needs to present it a lot better. He keeps tapping his...
When he's like bang on as well. I've got that bang on, and he's like, no, really? Like, come on, mate.
Yeah. The character's ropey, isn't it? He needs to work on that. But then maybe I don't know how much he's done, but maybe this is him starting out, and maybe this is something he's going to develop over time. He's a young lad, isn't he? Yeah. He's got a long way to go with this.
He should read some cold reading, whatever, cold facts or cold reading or whatever it is, with the Barnum statements. If that's the way you want to go, you should definitely do some more research. But it's a great way. You know what, Ian? As much as it's ethically wrong to think of somebody who's dead. Is it your granddad? Oh, is he about 70? Has he got a bad leg? He's starting out somewhere, and that's the key to this. This is the positive from it. At least he's out there doing something, and he's trying, and he'll learn from it and get better. Well, hopefully he'll get better. I mean, we could all kick him and say, yeah, it's shit. It's a load of shit. And what you're doing, mate, you need to stop, right? But, we need to take we can't do that to people. We've got to help them and project them. So if you're the guy on the video, Ian will happily help you out. He's read a book called Strung Magic, and it will mentor you and tutor you till the day you pass away and you want a psychic reading.
No, if anyone needs help with this kind of stuff, I'm not really a cold reader, but I can definitely point you in the right direction. And there's a lot of things I think most people down there, I mean, comment below with what you think of it all, but I think a lot of you watching will see areas where that performance could be improved. Things like you were saying, Phil, bang on. I got it bang on. Well, did you really force that with the person quite as harsh? The fact that he starts off with, he sees, is it a female or a boy? A female or a boy? And she says it was a male. It was an old man. If he just said female or male, he'd have a better chance of getting that. And then he asks her, does she know the man? And she says, no, I don't know him. that should be the end of that line of conversation. Then he drags it out further and further. Oh, he was a relative. He used to be into sports. He's not into sports now because he's dead or before he died. And he smoked a bit. I can smell tobacco. He's gone on all of this stuff about and a person that doesn't mean anything to the person he's speaking to. It's just a complete waste of his time. I mean, I think it's a bit dodgy ethically anyway. Saying that you're contacting a dead relative, but if you're going to do it, at least try and do it right.
He's just got to learn. He's got to learn his craft. Jump on some penguin lectures. Ian Rowland's got a book out. Full Facts of Cold Reading, I think it's called, which is a great book. Kenton Epper's got some wonder words, which is very easy and accessible to learn as well. And just picking the right people. Is it Paul Vudini? I always get his name mixed up. He's got a DVD out a few years ago, the palm reading DVD. All those things are out there and accessible, and they're relatively cheap, and you can put yourself a good, strong act together. I mean, he wouldn't go far wrong picking up some of the Pete Turner stuff up as well, and studying some of his online courses or products and books. And all these little bits and pieces. Yeah. I think he's got, to not take away from the guy. He's definitely got some kind. If he's got a will to do it, then he'll have potential to perform and become better at it. But if he wants to be a psychic and not a magician, then unfortunately that's not really. I mean, he does say that, doesn't he? And then performs a magic trick at the end. Let's be honest. And you're like, why? If you're going to be a psychic, why introduce a deck of deck playing cards? It makes no sense. But we all go through the phase where we have to find ourselves. We all go through that phase where we have to find ourselves. So maybe that's just him.
And it is that he's like you saying that magic trick at the end. He's fished for a name. He's got the name wrong. Then he eventually says, "I got it right. I wrote it down." But why did you write that name down beforehand and not tell her? Why didn't you just come out and say, "I've got a message here from Liz"? And then he doesn't even give any sort of a positive vibe to the person he's speaking to. And the person on the end of the call seemed like quite a young person. They haven't even got a data plan on their phone, for crying out loud. They've got no internet connection. They're just on the phone. And he's there and he says, "Oh, your friends died. They committed suicide. Their name's Liz. I'm done. That's it. That's all you get." There's no even message of hope or message of love in there. Liz says, "Go on and live your life," or anything like that. There's a lot to do. I was asked, why is he tapping his phone so much? Why is he tapping his phone? On some of his other videos, you can see that he's actually recording the screen on his other videos, and he taps his phone to keep it awake. So you can actually, on some of his other videos, you can see the Instagram chat that he's having, and he taps it there to keep it going. So when I first saw it, I thought, hang on, he's just on Facebook, scrolling through and picking up the feed. But no, he's got it there. He's just keeping it awake at the same time. He's got all of this information beforehand, well in advance.
Yeah, so Lee Milner's just put down here as well. He's awful in performance and morally. So let's go with the performance first. As you said, Ian, I think it could just be his inexperience. So I don't think we're here to actually kind of sort of bash him about for his performance on it as such. But I think you're right, Lee. Morally, it isn't for me. If you know anybody has got any kind of dead relative, especially if they've committed suicide, a friend or whatever it is, stay well away.
100%.
In my eyes. So yeah, Lee, I agree.
Me too. You're a magician. You've got so much art. There's so much things you can bring to this craft, this art we can do. Why would you want to do that as your thing that you want to choose? There's so much you can do. There's so many ways you can show your superiority as a performer. It's like if you go to an artist and say, "I want you to draw a painting of my family," and they give you back a painting of someone that's committed suicide, dying horribly. It's not what you go in there for an artist. I don't know. It doesn't sit well with me.
Yeah. Watch Derek Jacora, whatever his name is.
Yeah, but that's somebody pretending they're psychic, and that it's not really a magician type.
That was a joke, by the way.
Oh, right, okay. So Dan Slater has put up here as well. If you want an entertaining psychic, watch Tom Bin's character, Ian de Montfort.
Yes,
I agree with that as well. Steve Faulkner's just joined. Hi, Steve. Thanks for joining.
Yes.
Who are we talking about? I don't actually know his name, Steve. Do you guys know his name at all?
No,
But
we'll drop a link. We'll drop a link in.
Yeah, we'll drop
about performance level.
Yeah, we'll drop a link in, Steve, regarding his performance. It's a guy doing some psychic cold reading. That's a bit sort of morally, sorry. Incorrect, shall we say? But I think.
And we don't want you guys to hunt him down and start trashing him. That's not the point here. But it's just to have a discussion between ourselves. Is it the right sort of thing to do? Now, we need to move on. We need to move on because we've got about 17 minutes or so left on the clock. And we're now at the point where we want to have a look at the videos that you've sent in. And I know Lee commented a minute ago. We got a video in from Lee. We didn't get one from you, Dan. Never mind, someone in. These videos are packet tricks this time. So it's little clips of you performing a packet trick. And then we've got a few videos chunked together first. And then at the end, we've got one video we thought we'd play on its own, just to share that one with you. So let's do it. Yeah, Tony, can you roll the video?
We've got 4 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And they all look like from the same packet because they're all blue in the back. And actually, they are from the same packet, but it's a special packet of blank-faced playing cards. But I'll give a little pop like that, and one of the cards is turned to a joker. Now, the joker just appeared, but I'll put it second from the bottom, and I'll move each card up one position, just like that. It should go up, but every time I do this, it jumps to the front. It's a mystery. Well, it's magic. But I'm going to put that in there. Face up between the face down blank cards. Give them a little twist, and then the joker changes places with one of the blank cards. Now that's face up. Right, I'll put that to the bottom. So we've got all 4 cards face down again, like we had at the start. But with a little pop, the joker will hopefully come back. There it is. And the joker should be easy to find. It's the only card that's not blank faced, and it's also the only card that's a different colour on the back. Cheers, guys.
Hey everyone! Have you ever wondered why card tricks work? Well, the answer is quite easy. We confuse the audience by using so many cards. We have 52 cards in the deck, and then we talk and do weird moves, and it's just way too much for a lay audience to follow. So for this trick, which is not actually a packet trick, because you can do it impromptu out of a shuffled deck, and that's what I like especially about it. All you need is 5 cards. I hope this still counts as a packet trick though. If not, well, Ian, you have to just kick this performance out. I don't know. Well, we use the ace, 2, 3, 4, and 5 of spades for this. So we have the ace on top and the 5 on the bottom. If I take the ace and put it somewhere in the middle, you don't know, did you pay attention? Well, you of course did, I hope so. And yet still you couldn't figure out how the ace got on top. So if I do it again and I put it back somewhere in the center, just a snap and the ace comes back on top. I guess it's still too many cards. So we'll do it again. We'll have the 2, just the 2, and put it somewhere in the middle. And yet still, with just a snap, comes back to the top. I guess it's still too many cards. We'll take the 3 and we'll insert it. 3, well, let's just put it right here between the 4 and the 5. And let's put it face down. What, you say? This wasn't face down, it was face up? Well, I'd say it was face down. What do you think? We'll put all the cards face down and put the 3 in the middle, and yet still the 3 comes up. Crazy, huh? I guess it's still too many cards. So we have the 4 and the 5, and we'll take the 5 and put it on top, and yet still with a snap, the 4 comes up. Isn't that just crazy? Too many cards, I guess. And the 5, what color was the 5 again, you say? Spades? Think again. This is Too Many Cards by Derek Dingle, and it's fantastic. Thanks.
My contribution to the packet tricks using these cards, aces and the kings. So this is a lesson in sleight of hand. So you place the kings over here, leaving us the aces here. The idea is very simple. You take an ace, you literally wave it over the kings, it turns into a king. Take a second ace, you wave it, it turns into a king. Just using sleight of hand. Let's say that. Maybe we'll do 2 for 2 this time. See the change. The question is this: if you saw the kings, how are the aces here and the kings happen to be over here? And that is my contribution to packet tricks.
Okay, we're all stuck inside, so let's remove these walls. Let's have some fresh air. We'll use the 10 of hearts for the metaphor. What happens when we remove the walls? More air ventilation, less chance of increasing R. There's a little bit of wall off there. The ink is the wall. That's the metaphor. The ink is the wall. So why not take off a bit more wall? All houses have 2 walls. That's the metaphor I think I'm going for. And since we have 2 walls, let's consider them balls. Obviously they jump across, standard. They also vanish. So first ball goes in, of course, followed by the second ball. Just a little squeeze. Say the magic word walls. Place it perhaps in the centre of the mat, and 1 ball will vanish. And then for the final ball, we say the magic words walls, 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 walls. Probably too many walls. That actually gives us sausages, doesn't it? That makes sense. So just 1 sausage there, 2 sausages, 3 sausages, just 4 and 5. Lots of sausages, probably not the best. At least I figured out something to do with this prop. So there we are. Enjoy the rest of the Magician's Advice podcast.
Yeah,
there we go.
Thank you, Damon, for sending in your packet tricks. We must have had a mixed message there, because that clearly is a sponge ball routine with a card. But then again, we've got to say that you're not a magician, so I get it. I get it.
I wonder if people around the world are going to get the walls thing. Walls of sausages over here, aren't they? I wonder if people are going to figure that out in other places.
Thank you very much for sending in your videos. We enjoyed the few that did, and all the late arrivals as well that we couldn't get on because we couldn't edit them in time. And unfortunately, the way that works is we have to compile them a week before the live, just so we've got everything and it can be run in whatever Tony's doing behind the scenes. Anyway, I think the next one's going to be coins, isn't it? We're going to be doing the coins.
Yeah. Next month, if we do a coins video, so send us in your coin tricks, and we'll share those. We've got 1 more video to share today, there, Phil.
Yes.
Did you get a chance to watch this one?
No, I'm looking forward to this. I haven't watched it yet.
This one is it's the youngest submission we've had, but it's someone you've probably seen already on the Facebook page further down. In fact, you've probably seen them on every magician's Facebook page, because their father is great at promoting themselves and magic, and their son. I love this little routine. I was chuffed a bit when it got sent in. I think we'll talk more about it afterwards, but I think it's brilliant. Phil, you ready?
Yep.
Tony, roll it.
Daddy?
Yeah?
I've got. Would you like to see a picture of me?
Yeah, I would, yeah. Absolutely, always.
Here is a picture of me.
Dude, it looks nothing like you. There's the smile. Actually, the smile's the same. And the eyes are there. You got no red nose, man. You got no red nose.
I haven't got my red nose on today.
Ah, fair enough.
You might have saw them already, but I've also got some blank cards. Okay.
Yes, I see blank cards. Yes.
I've got blank cards. It doesn't matter how many blank cards I've got.
Okay.
It just matters that I've got blank cards. Okay.
Yeah.
It just matters that I've got some blank cards. Because we need blank cards to do the trick. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm gonna swap this card.
Okay.
For my face. For my picture face.
Okay.
I'm going to swap it for this one.
Okay.
Okay? And I'm going to put it in here, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to put it in a deck. Like that.
Okay.
Well, not deck, but I'm going to put it in the packs of
packet.
Yeah, I'm going to put it in the packet. And let's see where I put it. I put it there, okay?
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm also going to put these cards in the middle as well.
Okay.
Now when I snap, guess what happens?
What?
I'll show you.
Whoa, no way.
Yeah.
More clowns.
Yeah, more clowns.
More little Rylands.
Yeah, more little Rylands. And now I'm going to put these cards down, okay?
Okay.
Like this. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
And I'm also gonna put these cards down.
Okay.
Now I'm just gonna take this clown and I'm gonna put them on these cards, and the clown goes underneath.
What?
Yeah, if you don't believe me, do you believe me?
No.
Okay, just turn them over.
Oh.
More Rylands.
More little Rylands.
Yeah, more Rylands. More Rylands. More Rylands.
That's awesome, buddy. That's awesome.
And to be honest, there's so much clowns, so the middle ones over.
Middle
Three
ones?
middle ones, yeah.
Okay. They're everywhere.
Yep. Don't they look just like me?
Yeah, other than the nose. What happened to your nose, dude? That's awesome, man.
There we go. I hope you enjoyed that. What do you guys think about that one?
Yeah, great. That Craig's teaching his son magic at such an early age. Imagine what he's going to be like when he grows up. He's just going to be blowing everybody's minds, and the world is oyster if his dad keeps him on this track and keeps him going. Well done, Craig. Well done, Ryland. Thank you for taking the time to send in your video. It's great.
I love
it's awesome.
Well, for his age, he's so much confidence for his age.
Yeah,
as well.
it's so good seeing kids that age enjoy the magic and do something, like that. It's good to watch.
Definitely. Dan Slater said he's putting a lot of professionals to shame. Absolutely.
Yeah, he is. And I think something great about what Ryden and Craig are doing, I mean, of course, he's got Craig's support there, which is a godsend. But it's nice to see him doing things that are appropriate for his age as well. So that routine there, it's got clowns, it's got red noses. At the end, he's wearing a silly red nose. And he knows it's fun, he knows it's silly. It's not like he's trying to be above himself. And I've seen lots of magicians in the past, younger magicians, try and pretend to be grown-ups, pretend to be talking about different plots and different things. Whereas you just be your own age, and he's loving it. He's having a great time.
Ian, he's only about 4, isn't he? He's only 4 or 5, isn't it?
I think he's 7
now, I think.
Yeah, 7, there we go. Yeah.
He's just younger than my daughter.
But you're right. It's all these young people that trying to act above their age. He's actually being his age now. I think it's brilliant. It's like Justin Bieber singing about breaking up relationships when he was like 12 or whatever he was. Get a grip.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right, just before we wrap up the end of our little live stream today, at the bottom of your screen you'll be seeing a list of names going past. Those are our patrons. Thank you so much if you are one of our patrons and you've supported the podcast financially over the last few months. The Patreon system's been frozen for a couple of months because of COVID. We chose to freeze all the payments. That'll be going back into action hopefully the start of July, so keep your eyes peeled on the Patreon page for that as well. We also need to shout out the various platforms on, because we're running a lot at the moment. We've got Facebook and our Facebook group. We've got the YouTube channel, which has recently had a huge shout out from Magic Orthodoxy, David over there. And we've bumped up our subscribers quite a lot. If you're not subscribing to that, get over to the YouTube channel and subscribe. What else do? We do the podcasts, and we're up to 130 recordings now, I think.
Something like
That's
that.
just flying through.
Yeah, we put out 126 goes live tomorrow, I believe.
That was it. 126 goes live tomorrow. Who have we had recently? We've had a Zoom one with Ricky Locke, how to do Zoom magic. We've had the first gig after lockdown with Graham Mikkel. We've had Steve Della, who's coming out tomorrow. We've got Chris Cox from The Illusionists. Is it The Illusionists?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think on the spot here. We've had Chris Cox, that'll be coming out soon. Wayne Fox, that'll be coming out soon. And John Archer, we recorded.
Morgan and West.
Was that, Phil?
Don't forget Morgan and West.
Oh, yeah.
Morgan and West as well. Oh, gosh, yeah, absolutely. I love that one.
But there's some great podcasts coming out, guys. I'll tell you that. Yeah, listen out, really. And don't forget, click subscribe and like everything that you can.
Yeah. The one thing from me is, if you're listening to the podcast, because we haven't had any reviews, can you drop a couple of reviews on iTunes for us, please? Because it helps with the stats and the algorithm and stuff like that.
We had 2 reviews in 2019, Phil. That's plenty enough.
Yeah. For the amount of people who listen,
And share the hell out of it all over your social media as well. Get loads of people listening, because it's not just for the magicians, although it helps the magicians, but it's for people that are getting into it as well. And you sharing it could get somebody else into our art.
Yeah, exactly that.
Alrighty, so we'll end this here tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's our second run. We're still learning. I mean, at the very start, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know how I'm going to be. But we still didn't get into it, and Ian sort of took the ropes. So thanks for sorting out that, Ian, because I was like, But yeah, man, enjoyed it, and enjoy your weekend. And we'll see you again on the next live or the next podcast or the next something or other that we're doing. We're just enjoying it. So yeah, enjoy. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, all the patrons who support us. And we'll see you again on the next time. Thank you. Goodbye. God bless.
See you later, everybody.
Goodbye,
Bye-bye.
everybody.